Well, despite being a household name for more than 3 decades, David Duchovny still has an air of mystery about him.
Doesn't he?
He really does.
We've seen him act, sing, and we've read his books, but we still know that for this Hollywood enigma, the truth is out there.
The X-Files put David Duchovny on the map.
Mulder, look, Colton plays by the book and you don't. They feel your methods, your theories are...
Spooky? Do you think I'm spooky?
For 11 seasons, we followed the highly skilled and unconventional Fox Mulder on his search for the truth.
Oh, God, I mean, it's amazing what I can accomplish without incessant meddling or questioning into everything I do. It's just...
It's not just science fiction, though, where David shines. Also found a legion of fans as Hank Moody in Californication.
So is there anything new I need to know about? Latest development? Any news I need to be kept abreast of? He said breast. He did.
The Golden Globe winner can steal the show in smaller roles too, like the former hand model in Zoolander.
So how'd you manage to escape?
So I'm a hand model, Mama. A figure jockey. We don't think the same way as the face and body boys do. We're a different breed.
Or even as Carrie Bradshaw's ex-lover in Sex and the City.
Oh, I gotta run. Last train leaves in half an hour.
I think you should stay. I think we should go all the way.
Off the big and small screen, Duchovny is also an accomplished musician and a best-selling author. In fact, his latest book is already being adapted for the screen.
And David Duchovny joins us from his home in New York. Hi, David. You've been a busy boy, haven't you? Look at everything you've done.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Congratulations on the new novel. Tell us about Truly Like Lightning.
Well, it's kind of an epic Western, and it's hard to encapsulate quickly, but I would say that, as I was pitching it for a TV series, and we're going to be doing it for Showtime, hopefully soon, we all realized that, the story of a family that removes itself basically from modern civilization to go live in the desert in Joshua Tree outside of California for the last 20 years, and then gets pulled back into civilization by a ruthless kind of real estate deal. And then the ensuing kind of return to civilization for these children of theirs that have really not seen another human being for the last 20 years. Kind of resonated with people during COVID in a way, because we all realized that we were trying to get into a bubble ourselves away from civilization in the midst of this virus. So it was a very kind of interesting revelation for me to realize that I'd written this book in 2019, and to be talking about it in 2020, it was kind of not prophetic, because obviously I'm not talking about a virus in the book, but appropriate for this day and age.
Yeah, it's a little prophetic, that's for sure. And David, you've got so many fans, of course, who really closely follow your acting career, but you're a prolific writer as well. I mean, 6 years, 4 novels, and this one has obviously been a great success. You studied at Yale in literature. So what is it about writing that's the appeal for you? You even did a little bit of writing throughout your time at the X-Files.
Yeah, I think after so many years collaborating on TV and film, it's a very collaborative medium. There was something about just me putting my ass in a chair and writing and just being reliant on myself. Obviously, I have an editor and people that I deal with when I write, but there was something about just being the sole creative force. Now, I love collaborating, don't get me wrong, but there was something about just it all coming down to me in these novels, in fiction writing, that appealed to me. And also in terms of schedule it did, because, I've been raising kids. My youngest is 18 now, so he'll be leaving the home. But, when I was home a lot, it kind of fit the lifestyle that I wanted, just sitting in a chair from 9 to 5.
So you mentioned this new book has already been picked up by Showtime, so it's going to be turned into a mini-series. Will there be a role for you in the mini-series that you've written?
Hell yes.
Yeah. If you can't write yourself in, then there's something wrong, right?
What role do you see yourself in, David?
The lead. I'm going to be the lead, of course.
Of course.
I won't direct it, and I'm not adapting it. I mean, I'm co-adapting it.
Okay.
I have these two guys from who wrote and directed The Peanut Butter Falcon, a wonderful movie from last year, who are going to collaborate with me. And I like the idea of taking a story from one medium, in this case, the novel, and adapting it into another medium with the input of other people, because for me to try to adapt it solely by myself, I think I would go crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to translate myself into something else.
I'm just personally just a massive fan of Californication.
Yeah, I know.
Kyles and I were talking about it. One of my friends I've nicknamed Runkle for the last 10 years, courtesy of you, because of his familiarity in looks and personality with the great character. What about the characters that you play, David? How do you relate to them? I know I read about this latest book that you speak about the protagonist almost being like a double, that it's almost like a shadow life. How do you relate to the characters that you play and create?
Well, firstly, I think I have a theory that everybody has a runkle in the either a male or a female runkle. Everybody has a runkle.
Yeah.
The great Evan Handler. The guy in my book is a former stuntman, a Hollywood stuntman, and the discussion of doubles comes when he's kind of thinking about his life, where he's a double for an actor, who's a double for a real person, who gets his shadow cast on a screen, dark room. So he's like 4 times removed from authenticity, is how he feels. And there are things in his life that speak to him more deeply about authenticity, and that's why he makes a big change.
David, you broke the internet last week, posing with your former co-star Gillian Anderson. You know how to get the fans excited?
Yeah, I mean, that's not something I ever do. Jillian is pretty active on the, there we are. Yeah, I went to visit her, and I was shooting a film in London, and we had lunch. Oh, look, she cut me out of that one. I don't like that one so much.
Yeah, that was the tight crop. You didn't make the cut.
Shit.
How often do you see Gillian?
I got to talk to the editor. I don't see Jillian that often. She lives in London. I happen to be shooting there. So that was really nice to catch up.
You and actually, I have to ask you, David. Did you actually catch COVID in November? I read that you were actually diagnosed with it. How did you cope through the whole diagnosis? How hard did it hit you?
More like COVID caught me, right? It wasn't so bad for me, I have to say. I mean, it was. I definitely was sick for a couple weeks, but. You know, certainly not hospitalized or anything like the horror stories that you hear. So, you know, I feel like I got off pretty lucky, thank you.
Gives you a lot of time to sit there and write as well, I guess.
Well, I didn't quite feel like writing. But
Fair enough, yeah.
So what are you up to now? You said you were shooting in London. You're back in New York now. What are you up to now?
Just finished a movie with Judd Apatow called The Bubble, which is a comedy about actually trying to make a big action movie during COVID protocols, in which this kind of spoiled and pampered ensemble of famous movie actors gets fed up with living in a bubble and tries to escape from their own movie.
Judd Apatow is such a talented guy.
Just quickly before we let you go, David, you're talented in so many areas, acting, now you're writing, of course, all these projects you've mentioned. I was delighted to read that you're actually not excellent as a cook. By this, I'm referring to the brownie saga. Would you care to share?
Oh, my keto brownie. Yeah, well, I was locked down with my son for most of last year, which I have to say, you know, in all seriousness, there's nothing good about COVID, but the silver lining for me, for the lockdown, was that I got to spend so much time with my boy, and I did start to cook a little bit, which is not my forte, and I went at some brownies, and perhaps I left the batter out too long. I don't know what happened, but after I delivered a brownie to my son, he called me in with a strange tone in his voice and showed me a giant, we call them water bugs here in New York City. It's a large cockroach, kind
A
of
large
baked in
cockroach.
the middle of that keto brownie. So, we decided it was just a little extra protein.
That is truly horrific, David. Thank goodness you can write and act.
I'll come and I'll cook for you anytime. You just say the word.
We'll give that a hard pass, but we'll watch and read everything you produce. David, thank you very much for being with us on the morning show.
I appreciate it. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thanks, David. David's new novel, Truly Like Lightning, is available now and coming to a screen near you too soon.